Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Here, I would like to brief a bit on past year question, which is on topic 4, which is the Islamic money market. Alright, so this topic is going to be asked or is going to be tested in your final exam. Question number 2. Alright, so question number 1 is the chapter 1 that we learn. Now is the question number 2, Islamic money market. Alright, so we see the previous semester question, which is the latest question. Okay, in this question, you can see that okay, in the beginning, the question just introduced okay, each question in final exam they have 25 marks. Each question in final exam they have 25 marks. All right. So normally they are going to divide it into 3 parts, which is 5 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks. All right. So the total is 25 marks. All right. So the first one, or A, part A, is normally a 5-mark question. Okay, just like this question. Okay, we just go through this question first. Unlike the Islamic capital market, which is used to issue and trade the long-term securities, Islamic money market is used for liquidity management and secondary trading of the money market instrument. Most crucially, the central bank used this channel to carry out monetary policy. Thus, Islamic money market is an important component of Islamic financial system. All right, okay. So, nothing, that's introduction. All right. So now the question, explain 5 need for Islamic money market, right? So you see the mark is only 5, and the question asks you to explain 5, right? Okay, normally when the question asks to explain 5, you need to explain. But in this question, because it's only 5 marks for 5 points, so actually no need for you to really explain or really elaborate, right? So this is the example of the answer. Okay, the need for Islamic money market, okay, provide Sharia compliant for short-term instrument for liquidity management, right? We know, right, for bank, Islamic bank, they still need money market to transfer. If they are surplus, they want to transfer the fund. If they are deficit, they want to receive a fund. Okay, offering secured instrument with minimal risk exposure. Why the risk is minimal? Because all the Sharia contract, we have asset as a back to cover, right? Allow the Islamic financial institution to act as both investor and financing client, okay, enhancing the institution robustness of Islamic financial institution as avenue for access and deficit fund are available over short-term period, and reducing the displaced commercial risk for Islamic financial institution, which is the excess deposit are no longer idle. If the bank, for example, have extra or have a surplus deposit, they are not just let it be to maximize the profit. They can do something like, for example, transfer using a money market to the deficit fund unit, so that they can maximize their income. All right. So this A, B. Okay. As I mentioned, A 5 marks, B and C 10 marks, 10 marks. So the total is 25 marks. All right. So normally on the 10 marks, 10 marks question, you need to explain in a sentence, in the long sentence with supporting document, or with a supporting point. All right. So in this question, the question use the word analyze. Analyze 3 function of Islamic money market. All right. So by right, actually, there is a 3 function, which is a liquidity management, avenue for secondary trading for money market instrument, and a channel for Bank Negara Malaysia to conduct their monetary policy. So I think this one is also got in the slide, but the explanation is another things like each one of this point you are going to receive 1 mark. So each point 1 mark. Each point 1 mark. Explanation 1 marks. Example 1 mark. If you don't want to give example, continue to elaborate. So point 1 marks, elaborate 1 marks, example 1 mark, or elaborate for another sentence is another mark. So normally 1 point, like this question, the question only asks you 3 point or 3 function. Okay, so each question, each point, you can get 3 marks. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 1 mark is the format, or is the grammar that you use, or is the consideration of the examiner. All right. Okay. So for this one, liquidity management. What is liquidity management? So we know already liquidity management is when the company want to pay, when the institution want to pay something, they don't have cash, they need fast cash, they can use a money market, right? So it is served as a avenue for Islamic financial institution to source daily funding or to invest short-term and highly liquid instrument, right? So financial institution enable Islamic financial institution to maintain the optimal liquidity condition. I think we use this sentence also, or this word also, right? By not being overly liquid or less in order to meet the investor and customer demand at any time. We discussed already, right? So why it is not good to overly liquid or less liquid? Less liquid definitely not good lah. You don't have enough cash to cover your loan. But why it is not good to overly liquid too? All right. So I think we discussed this one, but just to catch back what we discussed. Basically, overly liquid is not good for an institution or is for company to have too many cash, right? Too high cash is not good because cash doesn't generate any income on its own. So cash, you need to do something in order to generate income. For example, you invest. The easy example is to invest lah. So if you invest, by right, you are going to receive an income. Or else you can maximize your company. If you have a business, right? You have too many cash. What should you do with your cash? You should expand your business lah because you have too many cash, right? So you should expand your business. But right, if you expand your business, you are going to receive more profit and more cash coming to you lah, right? So allow IFI to cope with the short-term pressure and give IFI flexibility to face a liquidity situation that might arise due to different timing of cash inflow and outflow. Again, we discussed this already, lah. Again, the main participant of money market, as I mentioned, is bank because bank really need this short-term funding because of it's not maybe it's not balanced between the one who deposit and the one who withdraw the cash. All right. So non-financial institution to manage the fluctuation in their working capital. When you mention working capital, you need to know working capital come from current asset less with current liability. Then you get a working capital, All right. Needs by obtaining either a short-term funding or placement. Consequently, they will enjoying low cost funding or investment return with low risk. All right. Okay. So as a venue for secondary trading for money market instrument, money market participant, depending on their view of the rate of return, will either buy or sell money market instrument in anticipating of obtaining investment return. Okay, we know that money market, like for example, you guys you sales your what bond okay. For example, you sales your treasury bills or bond in the money market because you don't want to wait until it is matured, right? So you see, you are going to get the return, the cash you are going to get quite fast. But of course, it's not full plus with the profit. The profit you get might be lower because the one who buy also want to have an extra profit, right? So by right, you can see here whether if you have extra cash, right, you can consider whether you want to purchase or not, rather than you just let your cash doing nothing for you, right? Okay. The instrument available in the money market provide investor with a different level of risk, return, and maturity. Okay, so a channel for Bank Negara Malaysia to conduct their monetary policy. Okay, Bank Negara Malaysia use open market operation to purchase and sell eligible security and provide a short-term financial directly to bank, which are in deficit situation. Okay, so the last one. Okay, describe 3 Islamic money market participants and their motivation to participate. Okay, so this question is considered easy because it is regarding a participant, the user, and the motivation, right? Again, you just name one participant, 1 marks, and 2 explanation or 1 explanation with 1 example. So you get 3 marks. For the question like this, they ask you 3, give 3 points, and total up 9 points. 1 point is lecturer or examiner consideration. All right, okay. So for example, the most important participant is bank, of course, bank for liquidity management purpose. Okay, to adjust mismatch of asset and liability, obtain a short-term liquidity, can buy money market instrument to invest in surplus fund for short-term or can sell to raise fund. Okay, when faced with liquidity problem, the bank can borrow from money market on short-term basis as an alternative to borrowing from central bank. This is what their motivation lah. Why do they really want to go for money market? Okay, for government, source for short-term funding via issuance of security. All right. So the money market contributes to the economic stability and develop a country by providing short-term liquidity to the government. All right, okay, nothing. Central bank, okay, central bank to conduct a daily monetary operation to achieve a desired liquidity in the banking system. Again, for Bank Negara Malaysia, for example, in Malaysia, they need to control whole financial institution in Malaysia, right? Because they need to control whole financial institution in Malaysia. That's why again the OPR is increase and decrease, right? OPR is increase and decrease. They have a reason why they increase and why they decrease the OPR. Sometimes they increase the OPR because they want to discourage public to borrow from bank. If they decrease OPR, bank have no option but to increase the rate, right? Because bank when they increase the rate, customer or client are reluctant to purchase a big asset to borrow from them. So this is one of the way Bank Negara or central bank control this financial institution in Malaysia. All right. So as a regulator, which promote a market stability, use money market as a channel to transmit the monetary policy. Okay, central bank is responsible for guiding monetary policy of a country, of taking measure to ensure a healthy financial system. Okay, through the financial market, central bank perform its policy making function efficiently. For example, short-term interest rate is in a money market represent the prevailing condition in the banking industry and can guide central bank in developing an appropriate interest rate policy. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is enough actually, but again, this is extra answer. Okay, business corporation and government agency for short-term investment. Okay, for large business operation by virtue of their high credit rating, source short-term fund by issuing a commercial paper. For example, this one is issuing a commercial paper. Okay, the money market provide easy avenue where business can obtain a short-term loan to finance their working capital need. Again, working capital is what? Current asset and current liability. So if working capital need, like for example, the company need for extra cash or the company need cash to pay their liability, current liability, so they can go for money market, all right? Business invest in all types of money market security as an alternative to hold idle cash balance. Again, if the business have extra cash, like for example 6 months, like for example, right, if the business want to make a construction, want to make a building, want to manufacture a building, so they borrow from bank. The cost to manufacture a building, let's say 1 million, so they borrow bank 1 million. Okay, to manufacture a building, what do you think? In the beginning, they borrow 1 million, the cost is 1 million. But did the cost incurred at the beginning of the construction only? No, right? The cost is incurred through stages of construction. In the beginning, maybe they just incurred 500,000. After few months, they incur another 200,000. After few months, they incur another 200,000 and 100,000, right? So if they borrow 1 million, they just incurred 500,000 in the beginning and they have 6-month period. This is what we call as idle cash balance, right? They borrow money for construction, but they didn't use for construction yet. They are going to use after 6 months. So therefore, the period is short. So what they can do with this short period of time, they can invest. To where they can invest? In money market, because money market is short term. All right. So as an alternative to raise a short term fund directly from the market instead of borrowing from bank. Okay, government agency raise a substantial part of their fund in the money market. All right. So that one is for the previous semester. Okay. So I think I just go through the video for one more. All right. So next is for February 2023, which is the after previous 2 semesters, still this year, but in the beginning of this year. All right. You guys are going to answer in February 2024, right? I mean the next year, in the beginning of next year, right? Okay. So this is example of the question. Again, the question is divided into 3 parts. Finally, divided into 3 parts. 5 marks, 10 marks, and 10 marks. Alright. So Islamic money market is important part of financial system. Islamic bank depends on money market to manage liquidity. Okay, so this one is just a statement. Explain briefly why this institution need to use money market. Okay, for commercial bank and for central bank. Okay, commercial bank is normal bank. Normal bank. Central bank is Bank Negara Malaysia. Alright. So commercial bank use money market for liquidity management. You see, this one is 2.5, 2.5 marks, all right? Purpose, for example, to obtain the short-term liquidity and place their short-term surplus over a limited period. It's similar, like the previous question. Again, just give 3 points, right? Even though 2 marks, right? You can give 2 points, an extra 1 point for example or for elaboration. Okay. So next, for central bank, to transmit the monetary policy. For example, buying and selling government security to influence the liquidity and interest rate of financial system. You see, central bank always the one who control the whole financial system in Malaysia. So to control the whole financial system in Malaysia, they are controlling by their monetary policy or the interest rate or the OPR. They control, right? Okay, so that one is the A. B, discuss four scope or Islamic activity or scope or activity within the interbank Islamic money market, IIMM. Right. So interbank Islamic money market. All right. So we know that in the conventional we have interbank money market. We don't have Islamic, right? Again, for interbank money market, it is important for bank until they create this interbank money market. It is important for bank to communicate between bank and bank here, right? It is important until they create a interbank money market. This one, right? Okay. The scope of activity interbank money market include the following. Okay, a place where Islamic financial institution trade their reserve balance. Again, what is reserve balance? Extra cash or idle cash among themselves to meet their day-to-day liquidity requirement. For example, bank with surplus liquidity can place their excess fund with the bank with other bank overnight. This is Islamic money market. Again, it is short term and it is very fast. All right. The Sharia contract typically used in this Islamic interbank are Mudarabah, Murabaha, Bai'adain, Bai'ina, Wadi'ah, Wakalah. This one you have in your slide. Okay. Next, again, there is a 10 marks. At least you need to have 4.4 big point for you to explain. So 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, right? Or it's better for you to have 5 point for you to explain, right? Interbank investment activity through Mudarabah Interbank Investment (MII) scheme. Okay. In this arrangement, bank with a surplus fund invest excess fund as a Rob Akmal, which is the fund provider, for a limited period with the bank with deficit fund, which is called as Mudarib. Again, we have this one, right? Mudarabah Interbank Investment. The tools or the product, the instrument that they have under interbank money market. Okay, interbank money market. For bank between bank, for them to transfer between them, they have interbank money market itself because they can transfer very fast between them. All right. And the product, for example, this here is Mudarabah Interbank Investment. All right. Commodity Mudarabah Liquidity Facility. All right. This one is the second one. Okay. It's the Tawaruk contract where buyer buys an asset from a seller with a deferred payment, later sells the asset to the third party on cash with price less than deferred payment. Purchase, deferred payment, payback monthly basis, sales the third party by cash. So receive cash, you can use that cash to invest or to do your business, and you pay from the seller monthly. All right. The purpose is to obtaining a cash. Okay. This transaction called tawaruk mainly because the buyer purchased the asset on a deferred term. It is no buyer intention to utilize or benefit from the purchase of asset rather than to facilitate the buyer attainment of liquidity. The reason why buyer purchased in the first place, not because the buyer want to use, but buyer want to sell. But normally in this situation, they appoint one agency to find the asset for them to purchase and to find the buyer for them to sell. Right? They have an agent. Right? Okay, the next one is wakalah interbank investment. Again, wakalah, what is the difference between wakalah and mudarabah? Wakalah, you appoint a wakil. Okay, muwakil, the investing bank, appoint investing bank as a wakil. Okay, extra cash investing bank, invest and ask the wakil, which is the bank, the bank, as agent to invest in general or specific Sharia compliant transaction. Of course, Sharia compliance, right? Because it's Islamic, right? Okay. On behalf of the muwakil, so investing bank, which is wakil, will inform muwakil of the profit to be generated from the investment. Any excess profit will be retained by wakil as an incentive, as there will also be a agency fees. Remember, what is the difference between mudarabah and wakalah? Wakalah have agency fees. It's not have. Wakalah can have agency fees, while mudarabah cannot have any agency fees. Okay, the muwakil as principal shall bear all loss except loss incurred due to negligence by wakil. Similar with mudarabah situation. Okay. Next, there is three main function of Islamic money market. Okay. Describe three main function of Islamic money market. Describe again. Give 3 point. Explain, or elaborate with example. Okay. All right. So first is to liquidity management. Okay. Liquidity management is what? Serve as an avenue for financial institution to source a daily fund to short-term investment, right? Access money market allow bank to maintain optimal liquidity, thus allowing them to meet the customer demand on time. All right. So the next one is facilitate secondary trading of Islamic money market instrument. Again, Islamic money market is what? Is the competition for the conventional money market. For Islamic bank, of course, they need money market too, right? So they have Islamic money market, all right? So participant will either buy, hold, or sales money market instrument to get a return. The instrument available in money market provide investor with different level of risk, return, and maturity. Okay, the next one is central bank, channel for central bank to conduct their monetary policy. All right. So this is done by purchasing and selling eligible security and provide short-term financial directly to the bank, which are deposit institution. In this way, Bank Negara can influence liquidity and benchmark rate in the money market, and also eventually bond capital market and banking system in general. Again, money market, Bank Negara or central bank is the one who control the whole financial system in the country itself. By Bank Negara Malaysia is in Malaysia. All right. Okay. So I think that's it for the video. There is a lot of other parts here which you can go through and read. Please go through and read. Right? I think this past year answer is more detailed compared to what your slide. Okay. Because the answer here we get from the textbook, which is detailed. So it's good source for you to read. Okay. Thank you.